I'm telling you, if you think you're finna walk out this movie and have all your questions answered, I'm telling you, you are gladly mistaken.
We got a problem. 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 It's probably you. Yeah. We got a problem. We got a problem. Yeah. We got a problem. We got a problem.
Yo, what's poppin' with Cobra Star Green? Back with you guys with another video. Look, you guys first time finding my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also like this video. Really does help. Like this video, y'all. But yes, today I do have my, review for the new, man, let's get right into it, bro. The new Weapons movie. Yes, y'all know, man, ever since Barbarian came out, everybody's been like, yo, what's Zach up to next? What's Zach up to next? And yes, his next movie has came out. I have seen it, and it's called Weapons right here. So yes, we're gonna review that one today for you guys. It's good as a bell, let you guys know this was one of my most anticipated films of the year. So did it meet my expectation? Did it not? Like I said, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about this right now. Now, like I said, everybody has been hyped for Weapons, and y'all want to know why everybody was super hyped this year for Weapons? It's because of the movie that came out a couple years ago called The Barbarian, y'all. If you guys have not seen this movie right now, I'm gonna tell you guys, stop the video and go watch The Barbarian right now. This trailer don't give away nothing for the movie, right? Now that's one thing Zach is really good at. He has trailers that have you confused and being like, okay, I want to go see what's going on in that movie. And you see the movie and you're like, oh my God, it's just way worse than what I was expecting, or way more than what I was expecting. And I'll tell you, like I said, The Barbarian pretty much got everybody hooked on what Zach had next. And what he had next was this movie called Weapons. Now, I'm gonna answer the question, is this movie as good as Barbarian? Stuff like that. I'll answer all that later on in the video. But right now, let's get into this Weapons movie. Now, I will tell you guys, this movie did a lot of things that I did not expect, right? When you see the trailer, like I said, Zach is really good at that. When you see these trailers, you think it might go one way, and you see the movie and it might go a completely different way. You know, Zach is really good at hiding stuff, at not showing anything in his trailers, right? So let's get into this movie, man. I will tell you guys off the rip. I'm gonna get this off the rip. If you guys do not like body horror, you might want to stay away from this one, because there's a lot of body horror in that third act. I just want to get that out the way very fast. There's a lot of body horror in that third act that we'll get into that in a little bit, but there's a lot of body horror in the third act. But what's the premise of this movie, Cobra? What's this movie even freaking about? Well, I mean, if you guys seen the trailer, you guys pretty much know. A bunch of kids wake up at like 2 something in the morning. I forgot, I think 2:17 in the morning, and they all walk out of class and they all disappear. But it's all from one classroom. And pretty much the story of this is figuring out, why did those kids walk out? You know, how did they all walk out? You know, so that's pretty much the story right here, without me spoiling or giving away anything. I'm trying my best not to give away anything from this movie, y'all, because I want y'all to go in as blind as possible, like I did, you know? But I will tell you guys, and this one, like I said, in my out of the air reaction, this one's a little different. You know, I kind of like the way they did it in this one, because in this movie, if you've seen different like TV shows, like I'm gonna recommend Power, right? Like the last season of Power, there was like 5 episodes on the same day, just going through different characters, right? One character went this way, we're following him. One character went that way, we're following her, you know? This kind of is the same way. Like, we start with Julia Garner character, right? And we start with her day, and then we might transition. We might go to another character's day, right? We might go to, I don't want to give that character away. There was a character I just saw, and I'm like, I don't want to give that character away at all. We might transition. We might go through his character. You know, there's a lot of different characters. This character's name's James in the movie. But what I'm saying is, there's a lot of characters, like the day, you actually go through their day, right? We go through, like I said, we start with Julia Garner, right? Then after that, you know, later on down the line, we might go through Josh Brolin's character's day, which his name is Archer. So you go through different characters' day, and as you keep going through different characters' day, you start to learn more and more about what's actually going on. And I'm not gonna lie, like at first I wasn't really digging that, because I'm like, why can't we just stay with Julia Garner character and just follow her? But the more I was, you know, going through it, I was like, this kind of works, because now you have these other characters that are actually way closer to the problem than you might think. Like you have some characters that you're like, okay, why are we following him? You know, and then you watch his story and you're like, oh, that's why we're following him. You're like, oh my God, like this character got super close to what's going on, you know? So that's all I want to say without spoiling too much on that. But yes, you do follow, I forgot, I think it's like 5 or 6 different characters in the movie, y'all. So buckle up for that. So I really won't go too deep on the characters because I just want you guys just to watch the movie, understand the movie. But I will tell you guys, from a performance stand base, I will tell you, even characters that I didn't even see in the trailer, you might go through, right? But I will say a bunch of all the characters, everybody here, even the kids, all did a fantastic job. Everybody's performance was amazing. Julia Garner's performance had to be really good because pretty much the town's against her. Everybody thinks she had something to do with these kids disappearing, right? Now, I won't tell you if she did it or if she didn't, but pretty much the whole town's against her. And I even felt like this before, like when my back was against the wall and stuff like that. And that's how she pretty much is in this movie. So it was kind of cool to go through her eyes, but it's funny because the movie doesn't really get going through her character. It's a whole other character in the movie. The movie starts being like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Julie Garner's character, which is, I forgot her name in the movie. Let me see. Justine, like with Justine, the movie just pretty much starts with her, you know? But it don't get crazy with her. It gets crazy with somebody else. But I won't tell you guys exactly who that character is. You know what? I'm just gonna stick to 2 characters. So she did a great job, and I'll tell you guys another guy did a great job, and it's another character, another guy that's been in Marvel. He was freaking Thanos. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Josh Brolin, right here, man. Josh Brolin, I actually really, really enjoyed his character. He wasn't my favorite character in the movie. There is a favorite character in the movie, my favorite character, but I can't say who it is because they barely showcase his character in the movie or in the trailer, so I'm not even gonna say who it is. But Josh Brolin's character, I really did him because his son, I believe, was it his son or his son or his daughter got kidnapped? I can't remember exactly. But you go through his story and like you just see how much of a caring father he is. Like he's sleeping in his son's bed, you know, throughout the movie. Like you could tell how much he misses his son. And it's points where the police ain't really doing nothing. And he's like, Archer's like, you know what? I'll figure this out by myself, you know? And you can actually see he's actually doing a really good job by himself. So that's all I'll say with his character. Josh Brolin did a fantastic job. Very convincing performance from Josh Brolin. That's all I'll say about the characters, y'all. I'm not trying to spoil and give away anything too much. You know, with Zach movies, it's kind of hard. You got to just kind of shut up. But I will say this is a really, really good horror movie, right? But I don't think it's a great horror movie. Or maybe it might be great, but it's not excellent. You know, maybe that's the difference right there. This movie did come with its problems, and I'll talk about its problems probably right now and then get back into the good stuff. I had 2 really big problems, right, in this movie. Now, the first problem is there is some unnecessary body horror in that 3rd act where I was like, are we serious? Like, this isn't even needed in the movie, right? Like, y'all could have went a whole different route than this. Because it's like the movie is kind of one way, and I guess it kind of gets you geared towards what might happen in that 3rd act and the 2nd act. But still, it's like, all right, this is unnecessary body horror I'm seeing right now. So that was one problem. And then the next problem is, if you think you finna have all of your questions answered, I'm telling you, gladly mistaken, y'all. Me and so many other people walked out the movie with still questions that I needed answers to, and Zach or none of the cast was there to answer my questions. Or to answer our questions. I'm telling you guys, you are going to walk out and you're going to be like, okay, so what about that? And you know, and what about that? So what happens now? You know, you're going to have these questions when you walk outside the movie. And the movie ain't answering it either. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. The movie do not answer it. The movie, it kind of ends and it wraps up and boom, the movie's over, you know? I do felt like that 3rd act was a little rushed. Like, I'm like, there should be at least 10 more minutes here. Maybe 5-10 more minutes of screen time here just to answer our questions, you know? There's a question from a specific character, And I'm like, okay, why is this character like this? You know, and they don't answer the question at all. If you guys seen the movie, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm like, they don't answer the question at all. So I was like, you know, like, why not? Why not answer this specific question? And unless I missed it, they didn't answer it, you know? So I won't talk about the character because the character is not shown in the trailer or anything like that. So I won't say anything about too much about that character. But I'll just say there's a lot of questions in this movie that I felt like just like I said, I think 5-10 more minutes would have just, it's 5-10 more minutes just explaining like, okay, this happened. Here's the results, you know, maybe even like a year later or something, you know, whatever, something. And just give us all explanation. Now they do have a kid narrating throughout the entire movie, and he kind of says something, but I'm like, nah, I need to see this visually. I ain't gonna lie, because I'd be like, I feel like it'd be way more creepy if we saw it visually. But that's just me. But yeah, those are probably my biggest 3 complaints. Whereas 1, there's some unnecessary body horror in that third act. Everything kind of revolves around the third act, honestly. 2, a bunch of our questions just aren't answered. At least from my POV, I felt like they weren't answered, because I still walked out with many questions and I had to ask other people about it and they didn't even know either. And I was like, well, damn it. And then 3, I felt like the third act was kind of rushed a little bit. It rushes to get over. It rushes to be over, and I didn't like that. But I will tell you guys right now, man. For those first 2 acts, I was having so much amount of fun watching this movie, y'all. Everything you see in that trailer, how mysterious this movie is, you see it in those first 2 acts. Those first 2 acts have you so freaking hooked. I promise y'all. Like I'm sitting here eating well, this ain't popcorn, but I was eating my popcorn like I'm engaged with the movie. I'm watching the movie. I'm like, oh my god. I was like, I can't wait till we figure out what's going on, right? So once you're in that mysterious point of the movie where you're trying to figure out exactly what's going on, you don't know what's going on yet. Those are the best parts of the movie. That is when the movie shines. When you don't know what's going on, is when the movie completely shines. I felt like once you start to know what's going on and you start to figure some things out and some things start to get revealed, is when kind of the movie dips. But that's in that third act, you know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you, man, those first 2 acts, I was having a hell of a ride. I was loving this movie. There was points where I was like, this might be better than Sinners. I'm not gonna lie, my favorite movie of the year is Sinners, right? And I was like, it was a point in that second act where I said, this might be better than Sinners. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, if this movie can land on its feet with the ending, this movie's better than Sinners. And I was gonna say it with my chest wide and big. But then that third act hit, and I was like, I might have to still give it to Sinners. I'm not gonna lie, I might have to still give it to Sinners. But I don't know. I would love to hear y'all guys' thoughts on that when y'all guys see the movie. But yeah, I think the best parts of this movie, and when the movie works in its favor, is when you really don't know what's going on still, and you're still trying to unveil the truth and unveil what's actually what's going on. And that's when the movie completely shines, you know. I do like the fact that he let all of these characters shine. He let 5, 6, 7, 8 different characters shine, get their own little spotlight in the movie, right? We go through their day. I really dig that. You know, at first I thought I wouldn't. I would be like, I don't know. But just watching this movie, I was like, this works. I was like, I'm not mad that they took this approach to it. I'm not mad that they took this way to it. So definitely one of my favorite movies of the year. Not my favorite. It's so close. And it was crazy. I was thinking about it after the movie. I was like, do I like this one better, or do I like Barbarian better? And it's close, but y'all might hate me for this, but I think I might like Barbarian just a little bit more. Just a little bit, y'all. But it's not by a lot, yo. Because I love the Barbarian. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. But I will tell you, I think the reason why I like Barbarian just a little bit more is I feel like Barbarian wrapped up everything it had to say. And Weapons, I feel like it doesn't. I feel like there's still more that needs to be said when it comes to the Weapons movie that the Barbarian movie wrapped up. You know, that's just my biggest thing with those 2 movies. Like I said, I really, you know what, I probably would have gave this my favorite movie of the year if they would have answered all my questions, you know? Like, and there's a bunch of questions you're gonna have answered while watching a movie. And some of them get answered, Some of them don't. I guess it's just up to your imagination on what you think might, you know, be the reason, or you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't want y'all to think I'm getting down on this movie. Look, I really did enjoy this movie for a lot of the time. For about maybe about hour and 40. I really did enjoy this movie a lot, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys my rating for the movie. Look, definitely look. It was a lot of hype surrounded by this movie, right? And I had huge expectations for this one. So did they meet my expectations? I will say yes and no, right? I'll tell you on a movie level, like as a movie going watching experience with a great crowd, how into it I was and how engaged I was with the film. Yes, it met my expectations on that level. But I walked in like, okay, this is a mystery movie and a horror movie at the same time. I was like, I can't wait to, my biggest thing was I cannot wait to have these questions that I have watching a trailer answered. And like I said earlier, some of them just aren't answered. So it is what it is. So it goes both ways. But I'll tell you guys, I know y'all, I really did enjoy this movie. I'm actually going to probably go see it again just because I did probably miss some things maybe that I just didn't see. I don't know. Maybe. I feel like I did miss something. I don't know. But look, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys my rating, man. I'll tell you guys. Look, in my eyes, this isn't as good as Barbarian, but I think it's close, y'all. It's not that far off. Performances are really freaking good. The writing is really good, except for that third act, I feel like. But look, I'll tell you, he took some balls. Zach took some balls. I'm not gonna lie. That's the director. If you guys know what I'm talking about. If you guys know exactly what I'm talking about Zach Cregger right here. He's the director of Barbarian, director of Weapons right here. And this was a movie, actually, I forgot to even mention, this was the movie that Jordan Peele wanted to get picked up on when he read the script. But it was too late or something happened with Jordan Peele. And it was crazy because you're watching a movie and you're like, I bet Jordan Peele read that specific part right there, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this is already in my alley," you know. But it would have been nice to see Jordan Peele actually get his hands on this too, and just see how Jordan Peele would actually do with this script. But look, I'm gonna give you guys my rating, man. If it wasn't for that last 20 minutes, that ending, man, this might have been a 10 out of 10. But because of it, I'll go probably 8.7 out of 10, y'all. It's not, like I said, it's not a bad movie. I had so much amount of fun in it. There is horror in it that's, you know, there's some points that you will probably get jump scared on, right? The best thing this movie has going for it is just the mysterious aspect of it. You know, you trying to figure out exactly what's going on. The characters trying to figure out exactly what's going on. And you're just enjoying that ride and that journey with the characters. Those are the best parts of the movie, and those are a big chunk of the movie. So that's why I really, really did enjoy this movie. But look, if you guys first time following my channel, hit the subscribe button, like the video, tell me your thoughts, complaints, criticisms over down below. And hey, we'll see you guys in the next one. Now, I will say I did not have no time to edit this video, and I'm so sorry about that, y'all. I am very, very busy this week, so I did not have any time to edit this video, but I hope y'all didn't really even realize it. So, hey, we'll see you guys next one, y'all. Peace.